You pull into the driveway and stop right in front of it. The garage. A whole room built for exactly one job: to keep your car safe, out of the weather, overnight. But your car is parked outside, because inside that room, bikes, a treadmill, boxes you haven't opened since the day you moved in. Everything you own except the one thing it was built to hold. And if that sounds like your garage, it is not just you. In one study, 3 out of 4 garages had too much stuff to fit a car. Somehow, the room made for your car became the one place your car can't go. The story of how starts more than 100 years ago, and it ends with you. Think about what your garage actually makes you do. You turn sideways just to reach the car door. You breathe in to squeeze past a wall of boxes. You step over a bin you forgot you even owned just to get into your own car. Because somewhere along the way, your garage stopped being a room. It became the one place in your home where things go to be forgotten. You open the door, drop it in, close it, and never think about it again. So how did the room built to protect your car become the room you avoid? It starts with a single word, invented in 1902. In 1902, a new word entered English: garage. It came from the French gare, to shelter. Because back then the automobile was new, expensive, and fragile, and the few people who owned one needed somewhere to put it. At first, they didn't build anything new. They parked these first cars in carriage houses and stables, the buildings that used to hold horses. But cars weren't horses. They leaked oil, they needed tools, and there were about to be millions of them. So as the car went from a rich man's toy to something in every driveway, a new room was invented and bolted right onto the house: the attached garage. By the middle of the century, it wasn't a luxury, it was standard. A room in your home whose entire purpose was to hold one thing: your car. And for a while, that's exactly what it did. But look in your garage today. 63% of American homes have a garage, and in study after study, only about a quarter of them actually have a car parked inside. The rest have quietly become something else: storage. And when the garage filled up, the stuff didn't stop coming. It just moved out. There are now more than 50,000 self-storage facilities in America, more locations than McDonald's and Starbucks combined, a $40 billion industry built on one sentence: I don't have room for this, but I can't get rid of it. So if your garage is full and your car sleeps outside, you are not the exception. You are the overwhelming majority, and the reason isn't laziness. It's the way your brain is wired to hold on. Psychologists call it the endowment effect. The moment something becomes yours, it's worth more to you, not in dollars, but in feeling. In one famous experiment, people demanded about twice as much to give up a mug they'd owned for 5 minutes as they'd have paid to buy it. Twice for a mug. Now point that instinct at a garage full of things you've owned for years. Every box is a tiny what if. What if I need it? What if it's worth something? And so the box stays, not because you use it, but because letting go feels like a loss. Add one more rule your brain loves: out of sight, out of mind. And the garage becomes the perfect trap, a room with a door you can close on the decision. But there's one part of that room you've never really looked at, and it's the part that could give you your garage back. Look up, above the car, above your head. In almost every garage, the floor is a disaster, and the air right above it is completely empty. We pile everything on the ground and ignore the volume over our heads. That empty space is the room you've been looking for the whole time. But before you run out and buy bins, here's the part most organizing advice skips. You cannot fix a garage by deciding, one object at a time, whether to keep it. Remember the endowment effect? Every single item pulls that little thread of loss. Do that 300 times in one afternoon, and you'll quit before you reach the back wall. That's not weakness. That's math. The problem was never your willpower. It was the number of decisions. So the real fix isn't cleaning. It's changing the setup so the clutter has nowhere to land. Here's how. First, go up. The biggest win in any garage is overhead. Ceiling racks and mounted platforms turn that dead air above your car into storage for the things you touch twice a year. The holiday bins, the camping gear, the suitcases. It's space you already own and never use. Second, get it off the floor and onto the walls. A sheet of pegboard, a slat wall, a few strong hooks. And just like that, the bikes, the tools, the folding chairs all go vertical. Floors are for cars, walls are for stuff. Third, and this is the one that actually beats the psychology, stop deciding item by item. Decide by category. Don't ask, do I keep this one screwdriver? Ask, where do all the tools live? Once. Give every category a single home, and every object has somewhere to go without a brand new decision. The endowment effect only wins when you face it one item at a time. And for the small things that quietly take over a workbench, the screws, the keys, the odd little parts, a simple organizer keeps them off the surface and in one place. There are plenty of good ones. The undershelf trays from Keepers are one I like, and there's a link below if you want it. But the principle matters more than the product. Small stuff needs a home, or it becomes the clutter. Put those three together, overhead, walls, decide by category, and something quiet happens. The floor clears. Not because you finally found more discipline, but because you stopped asking your willpower to do a job that belongs to a system. And then you do the thing you honestly forgot was possible. You pull the car in. The room built for it, more than 100 years ago, finally does its job again. You didn't just clean the garage. You got the room back. If this changed how you see that door you've been avoiding, there's a whole series here doing the same thing to every room in your home. The kitchen is a good place to start. I'll see you there.